I'm Celeste and welcome to Find Your Purple. Today is day 19 of SSSVEDA, a video every day for the month of August. And I stopped my fast yesterday. I had a 7-day juice fast. Yesterday was the breaking of the fast, and it took well into the evening before I felt my digestive system opening up. And I was up the better part of last night, constantly getting up to go to the bathroom. I'm going to take it gently again today to make sure my digestive system is totally awake and moving, but otherwise I'm going to be good to go. It was a good experience. One of the things I noticed is that my sinuses are really, really clear. So open, I've never felt them that open. And I had been on, again, totally juice the last 7 days, and the couple weeks before that I was adding a lot of green juice and fruit juice and not having much wheat. And so I don't know if it's just the 7 days or the combination, but I've been eating what they call a mucusless diet. And I was staying away from foods that cause mucus. And it goes back to the early 1900s. Dr. I think his name is Ehret, E-H-R-E-T, was a proponent of eating only foods that did not cause mucus. Now, he had transition diet that allowed you to eat some potato or sweet potato or some wheat periodically as you're easing into it, because even he acknowledged it's a tough sell because there aren't a lot of fun foods in the mucusless category. But either way, I have to say, not having anything, dripping in my nose, there is just nothing. It's much easier to breathe. So I was kind of impressed I saw that difference. And as you might remember the other day, I mentioned on day 6 and on day 7, I passed 2 worms. So I guess I'm going to call this 7-day fast a success, and I will do it again. I'm probably thinking I'll do it more like once a month, maybe from 1 to 3 days. And I am going to watch what hours of the day I eat so that I can kind of give my digestive system a rest more frequently than just waiting for some big fast day. Now, with juicing the last few weeks, I bought much more fruit and vegetables fresh than I've ever bought in my life. And I've started to learn a little bit about it because I used to pick the green watermelon, the one that was green and looked perfect. Well, the other day I was there picking one, and I saw a lady really giving them the go-over, and I asked her what she looks for, and she showed me that if they have a yellow part, and it's called yellow, if they're yellow on the belly, then that's something you look for, because that means it was ripening when it picked. It had some ripeness to it, and the sugar was starting to settle, so it was able to ripe on the vine rather than being picked before it got ripe. Also, if there's like a feathering on top that looks like almost a scarring of it, usually I think that's a bad thing. She said that's a very good thing. It's the sugar coming through, and it will be a sweet watermelon, and it was something to do with bees too, which I didn't grasp. But so now I'm looking for watermelons that way rather than the one that looks perfectly green. I also learned that garlic, I usually just grabbed kind of a bag of garlic, and you see some that are white, and I think they're netting many times, and they're white and they have no roots on them. It's kind of cut off and very clean looking, where there's some others that have the roots sticking out. Well, the ones that don't have the roots and are white typically are coming from China, and they have to cut off the roots before they can come in the country. That's one of the laws. And then they spray it also with some sort of pesticide or some bleaching agent, I think they said. So now I know not to go with those. Go with the ones that are a little messier, maybe not as perfect shape, don't look as clean, but that have the roots coming out, because those are vital and didn't have that spray and the bleach spray at the end. So that was another thing I learned. And the other thing I learned was that when you're looking at sweet potatoes or potatoes, if you see some that have the roots growing out, that usually I think that's old, they're bad, and I would steer away from them. But what I read recently was that that's a good sign, because it means the potato is still alive. And the closer you are to being alive and being picked, the healthier it's going to be, the more enzymes and the more healing it would be and better for your body. So they spray the many of the potatoes and sweet potatoes so that they don't get those little eyes on them and things, so that they look prettier. Just like some of the apples, you have a perfect apple and then you have the organic apples that aren't so perfect and have markings on them, but in fact are healthier for you usually. Or banana. I was always picking the banana that wasn't green but was still real yellow. I liked them firm. Well, come to find out, those are not ripe, and in fact you should leave them on the counter or something till they ripen, because they're not good for you when they're in that hard shape. You need to do them when they're softer and they're brown. All the times that I think they look gushy, and I'd save them for a banana bread or something like that. So anyway, my topic is kind of like looks can be deceiving. I was looking for the perfect vegetables, the perfect fruit, when in fact the healthier ones, the ones that would help me more in my journey for healing, are the ones that aren't perfect, that haven't been messed with so much by man and sprays and all of that. And I think that's kind of like people. We sometimes look at the outside, we look for the perfect looking, but I'm sure you probably have known people that on the outside, what they look like, how they dressed, what they said, all checked off the right boxes, but then what their heart was about and what their insides were turned out not to be the case. And I think there's a lot of things out there we've got to pay attention and not be so quick to jump on the what looks good department and go back to trying to figure out what's the truth, what's the heart, what's the, and I guess it just comes back to truth. What's the truth? Whether it's vegetable, whether it's people, whatever the case may be, you need not to be swayed by how it looks on the outside. Go for deeper. And I think God intended it that way. I think He knows. It's kind of His comment in one of the Gospels to the Pharisees about how they make the tomb and paint it and make it look clean and pretty on the outside, but the inside it's full of dead bones. So I think He made it so that it's not so easy for us to tell. We need to sometimes be a little more discerning in our decisions about a lot of things in life. So that's it for today. As always, grab your cup of tea. I'm allowed to be back on tea now. And sit back and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.